convention. My dear followers, we are in RIS convention. North America is one of the big convention. My dear sister, so we Muslim world learn you for Tony Blair's sister-in-law. But after that, you show yourself for many ways. As far as I know, you are a journalist, you are activist, you are traveling many places all over the world. Can you please tell me about yourself briefly? Who is Lauren Booth?
So yeah, I actually trained as an actress. I didn't train originally as a journalist. I became a journalist in 1997. I started writing for newspapers, and then I took a job at Press TV after I'd been to Gaza, and began to make programs about Palestine specifically. But I've kind of figured out the last few years, since accepting Islam, alhamdulillah, that there is not enough Muslim narrative in the mainstream spaces. You know, we want to ask people to find out about us, but most people are not going to come into the masjid. Let's be honest. In fact, if you speak to British people, they're like, I would never go into a mosque. It's a scary place. So then the question that I want to address with my life now is, how do we go into other people's spaces, but with a positive narrative?
Are you from London?
I'm from London.
Very good. So, as far as I know, you also went to Turkey many times. What do you want to say about your visits in Turkey?
Ertugrul, Ertugrul, Erdogan. In fact, what's really funny is a lot of my friends actually call Erdogan Ertugrul.
Ertugrul.
Yeah, and he kind of splash it together.
It seems you like history also, am I right? Again, in my knowledge, beginning of the 19th century, when Ottoman Empire was alive, Muslims in London were more than Muslims in Istanbul. Have you heard this information?
Never. I'm going to have to research that. That's very interesting.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's in my knowledge.
Okay.
Yes, 100 years ago.
Going to need to find out about
A
that.
little more than 100 years ago, Muslims in London.
So here's my thing about Turkish history. Don't own it and don't keep it to yourselves. Sometimes we're a bit nationalistic. And so when I hear, you know, perhaps historians or people who love Turkey saying, you know, Ottoman, it's our Ottoman tradition, it's our this. It's like, no. As someone who's come to Islam, I see Ottoman history as Islamic history. It's my history too.
Can you repeat your sentence you just said? Don't keep. I like that one. I never heard. Repeat again, please, if you don't mind. You just.
So don't keep your Ottoman history to yourself. Don't be nationalistic about it, because it's the history of Islam in the world. And as someone who's accepted Islam, my history now is not King Henry. It's not Victoria. It's Osman. You know, it is Osman Ghazi, it is Ertugrul, it is Ahmed, you know, it's the sultans, it's the different leaders that we've had in Islam. So please don't keep it to yourself. Okay?
Well, that's the reason I gave this information, right? So, as a historian lovers, for British Ottoman relations, what do you want to say?
I think the government is waking up to the need to do more outreach via British and American Muslims who are very keen to know about the Islamic history in Turkey. Why Islamic history, not Turkish history? It's all one, right? But for Muslims outside, we want to connect, because otherwise it's just another nation. Otherwise, we might as well know Spanish history, or we might as well know Portuguese history. So don't separate it for us who are of the faith from that perspective, inshallah.
Very good. So, how do you see Muslims American future, especially for Muslim Americans? How do you see it?
Well, that's hard because I'm not American, so they're in a very different situation. But you know, there's some great leaders coming through here. That's what I see. There's some great talent. We have Sheikh Omar Suleiman, we have Layla Sarsour, we have Ilhan Omar taking her seat in politics. So, you know, I actually see, you know, positive moves, because we've got a great wealth of talent and sincerity coming through, mashallah.
When you become Muslims in England, so as Tony Blair's former Prime Minister's sister-in-law, how was the reaction for secular British people?
Well, you know, if you don't believe in God, and somebody goes from being a writer who you recognize in a national paper to saying La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, you only have a couple of options. One, that person has gone mad, and two, that person has to be denigrated. There's an illness inside them. Or three, you have to accept there's a discussion about God and who is God. And that third one is the mainstream media will not go into that. It's actually not their job, so I get where they're coming from. If you're a secular newspaper, you can't do stuff about faith and religion from a believer's perspective. But on the other hand, the destructive nature of we're not going to accept people of belief as rational and having a good impetus in our society, that's problematic as well.
Lastly, what do you want to suggest for youth, Muslim youths, here in Canada, USA, Europe, or entire Muslim world? Because with this technology, I believe almost entire world become like together with iPhones, Facebook, everything. What is your suggestions for our Muslim youths?
So to Muslim youth, I'd say be authentically yourself. Don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and be to give up everything of your culture and your belief system in order to fit in. Because what you'll do is you'll just weaken yourself and your beliefs. Be authentically you and ask other people to accept you as who you are, inshallah.
Lastly, I said lastly, but this is Turkish style. What do you want to say to Istanbul and Turkey?
Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters all across Turkey. Inshallah, I will be seeing you soon. I'm planning to come in February. And get ready, a lot of British Muslims are going to be moving to live with you, I think, inshallah.
Thank you very much. We'll see you in Istanbul, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.